This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
This episode of Filthy Casuals is brought to you by Loot Crate. Go to lootcrate.com/filthycasuals and enter the promo code FilthyCasuals to get $3 off any new subscription today.
And if you live in Sydney, you can come and see us do a live episode of Filthy Casuals plus a Mario Kart tournament at Cake Wines, December the 16th, 2 p.m, Saturday, December the 16th. It's going to be a very fun afternoon. It's our first time going interstate.
Yep.
Filthy goes to Sydney. You can find tickets for that at filthycasuals.com.au, which is where you can also find links to our Patreon. If you care enough about the show to support it, you can get some sweet bonus content in return. Thank you to everyone who has done that.
Yes. And shirts. We're selling t-shirts.
Oh, yeah, and we're selling t-shirts through Redbubble at the moment that say Good Morning Video Games in the Super Nintendo logo font. Heaps of them sold already, so that's been cool.
Yeah.
And a few people have started to get theirs in the mail and uploaded the photos onto the Facebook,
If
is very cool.
If you tweet them at us, we'll retweet them.
Find all this stuff at filthycasuals.com.au. Video games. Welcome to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games hosted by three very kind and knowledgeable boys. You have myself, Tommy Dasilo, and this week I'm visiting two very special sick young children. It's a bit of a Make-A-Wish episode this week where these two gentlemen on their deathbeds just hacking and coughing and wheezing away, and I'm just here fit as a fiddle. Feel like I'm doing a live cross for the Good Friday appeal. First of all, what's your name, young man?
My name's Ben Vanel.
Don't do a voice. I was already iffy about making us that, but don't do a voice.
I wasn't. This is the only way I can speak in this state.
Hello. Oh, Ben Vanel over here.
You're doing the thing that you didn't want me to do,
No, because
which
it's okay.
I wasn't doing.
If it's 1800s Cockney, it's okay because all those kids would have been dead anyway by now. But if it's just a higher pitched voice, but 1800s Cockney, hello, I'm a Dodger.
Adam, you're also sick too.
Yeah.
So Ben caught it off you, and now
so.
I'm in this fucking incubator. I'm very anxious about I really do not.
But when I saw
sick.
Ben, we were doing work, and I was on the verge.
And I
of
was
getting sick,
already sick. We both thought we just had bad hay fever, and then
which I think we did as well.
yeah.
Also, I've broken 6 bones, and I'm lost.
You two also, if you don't mind me saying, I find you both to be pretty much on the hypochondriac side of things. So I'm thinking, hey, maybe they're just not even sick at all. Maybe they just have bad gas and there's actually no illness here and I'm not going to contract anything.
I know that this will just reinforce your point. But I think that I get sick a lot. As in, I think that I'm justified.
Hey, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that you think you get sick a lot. I'm totally with you, man. I agree.
I don't think I'm a hypochondriac. Can you catch that? How do you become a hypochondriac?
I think I'm getting it now. I'm starting to imagine myself being sick, but I'm not really sick. Anyway, this is a great little cliffhanger episode for the listeners. They get to tune in next week and find out, hey, did I contract whatever brutal flu that... I mean, you've got a thermos sitting here next to your couch.
Yeah, that's just
2
got
weeks
water
to
in it.
even get up and go to the sink.
Yeah. I think it's the flu, so enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it's definitely not the flu. It's a flu. If you're not sick for 2 weeks, it's not the flu.
Well, I've been sick for, 5 days?
No, like 4 days.
I've lost the ability to count. That's a key sign that I got the flu. No,
see, that's a hypochondriac. You're already bumping up the number of days. Now that's hypochondriac tendencies seeping in there.
True. I haven't slept in 7 days. But no, I feel quite delirious. So let's see how this goes.
But you've been playing. You've been playing a bit, right?
I've been playing a lot. It's it's been one of the few things I can do in this state. I've been playing a shitload of games. I've been playing a lot more Persona 5.
Where are you up to without spoiling?
I'm at 62.3%.
Okay.
So, like that.
Knox, go. What plot point just happened at 62%?
Well, like the percent kind of pretty much exactly correlates to hours.
Yeah.
So I think I can...
It also, there's the point that I just got to, you jump up from like 30% to 60%.
Right. Where do you look at the percentage of the game?
The loading screen. Every time you sleep.
Oh, that's not, your approval rating thing.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That changes.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
It's only ever gone up for me.
That I do not have as high an approval rating as that.
Yeah. You've made some crazy statements in the public, haven't you?
Yeah, I've come out with a lot of views and a lot of pictures of various body parts that have not gone over well with either my constituency or my family.
I'll say this just to give an indication, and it's as vague as I can be. I just did the pyramid and a few other things.
Yeah.
So I've started playing it. I think I'm like 2 or 3 hours in, and I think I talked about this the other week. I'm 3 hours in, and I'm still in what seems to be some kind of long-ass tutorial.
Yeah.
I've basically done nothing.
You've got to do that 3 more times over.
I've pushed X about 4 times at this point.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Like, I thought
I'm so excited for when we're all like 49 for you to finish this game.
Yeah. It's already. I thought once I went in, that would be it, and I would just kind of like really be playing it every night, but it's not happening. It's not happening.
The hooks don't dig in until like the teens of hours, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I need to know that I've got a couple of hours at a time to sit and dig into it. But you know, I've said on this on the show in the past that I think that I don't really like turn-based combat stuff. Yeah. And I like it in this, but I think I've nailed down specifically what it is about it I don't like. And it's, if you're doing like a platformer and you're shooting your enemy in real time or whatever, you can duck and weave, and it's conceivable that you can kind of get through. If you're really good, you can get through an area with taking no damage. Right. Whereas the very nature of turn-based combat, you always have to give over your turn to the enemy, and you always have to take damage. Yep. And even though that's just part of the design of it, it's still, to me, it's hard to get over that thing of feeling like you've failed in some way. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like this thing where it's like, it has to happen. Yeah. You give them a turn, they get to take damage off you.
It almost sounds like your problem is with the concept of sharing. Someone else
an only child.
Yeah, maybe that's just what it boils down to. It's just deep-seated only child stuff. But it's like it's just that feeling of like you can never get good enough at it. And there are things where like every now and then your opponent misses and you can definitely get better. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you have to resign yourself to, I'm definitely going to take damage, which makes me feel like I've fucked up and therefore makes me feel a little bad. Right. I realise that's what it... And I've kind of... Now that I've worked out that that's what it is, I'm like, oh, well, that's fine. Yeah. But it is kind of a weird thing to have built into a game, a thing where you kind of have to fail and you can't really do anything about it.
That does make sense. Or you have to plan for it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And that's part of it is like, having enough potions, to restore the health. Yeah. I definitely feel, I've never thought about this before, I feel worse when the main character takes damage.
Totally,
I feel like that's, and in Persona specifically, that is more important.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only one who, if the main character dies, you're out.
Yeah, which in most other games I've played like this, that's you have to lose all your characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had it in Rabbids too, where I would be like, I'd plan out a move, I'd like take, do a significant amount of damage to the enemy and get everyone kind of aligned and go, yeah, this is so good. And then, they take a shot at you and they hit you and it's like, oh, God damn it, I fucked it. And it's like, no, that had to happen. Yeah. There's no way around that. You did nothing wrong.
Everything's going to be fine if you get to the end or if you kill all the enemies with 1 point of health left.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, totally.
That's the goal, yeah.
But yeah, I'd be interested to know if anyone listening, if you kind of feel that same way about it, because I can't really think of too many other genres of games where that is just built in. I mean, obviously taking damage is a big part of any action game, but where it's like, there's nothing that you can do to protect against it in that way. Like there's a certainty on a reoccurring basis as well.
I think I have something similar with, when a game will have like a timed mechanic and it means that you can only do so much stuff. Mm-hmm. So like Dead Rising had that where you can't save everybody in one go. Right. You can't do everything in one go because there's literally not enough time.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is just like anything that like having to sometimes take a hit, but hopefully you've got the insurance to cover it. Yeah. Not having enough time to deal with things, like anything where it's too real life.
Yeah.
And you have to give up control for an aspect of it. Yeah.
Well, and Persona's already done I think it's done one of these already where you, for the purposes of the story, you're in a bit and you definitely will fail it. The game will definitely beat you. You cannot overcome it, but you don't know that when you're doing it. So you kind of stay above water for a long time, and then it's just like it just does beat you because it was meant to, but you still feel like, oh, fuck, God, I'm a fuck up. No wonder everyone hates me. I'm just going to open this bottle of whiskey and drink it all, and then they'll be sorry, and then she'll come back.
Now I've won. I've completed this entire bottle of whiskey. 100% done.
I broke the console into 100 pieces. I fucking won the ultimate game. Fuck you, Sony.
I thought your issue with turn-based combat was going to be the tedium of it, and what I was going to suggest, and this is still valid for anyone playing Persona 5 or similar games. With Persona 5, I found that you can set up and this.
You can automatically do stuff.
Yeah, you can set up your companions to be all-out assault or provide healing and support, which is something I made all my companions do to me, is provide healing and support.
I accidentally pushed the wrong button, and then all of a sudden, you can just. It's like a rush. It's called. Rush.
No, this is different.
Oh, okay,
so you can go into the menu, go into each character, and go. This character is an attacker. This character is a healer. This character is pragmatic.
Right.
Just giving them different AI routines, basically.
Yes, which means also it doesn't stop every time it's their go in combat. They just do it.
Yeah, sometimes it's the tedium that gets to me. Like, the thing I really like about RPGs is like the kind of exploring around the world. And those ones where it's like early on, there's all these like lower level enemies that just come at you all the time.
Yeah.
And so like Pokemon is kind of a good example of it, where it's constantly triggering you into these little bullshit battles.
There's no risk. Like, you're not going to lose to this fucking Metapod.
Once you've done it a couple of times, you can run away, but it's also like, and you've already caught one, so you don't care about getting it again. But you're also like, I guess I get XP from doing it, so I should just do it. It's kind of that balance of stuff of like the ramping it up, but the like, I kind of like exploring and talking to people and doing little quests. And when you're just walking around and it's just all these little kind of shitty things that get triggered.
Yeah, that
Earthbound did it a little bit as well. Persona, I'm not minding it because even though, I mean, they're spaced out pretty well so far. And just as we've said many, many times, just the style of it. Like, I don't care. Like, I just like being in the menus.
It does a pretty good job of keeping the difficulty at about the right level, or it did for me anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really well paced. Even though it's so long, it's really well paced in those matters as well, Yeah. So I've been playing a lot of that. I also dipped in on the Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta.
Oh, yes.
Which, I didn't play heaps of it. I just got an evening to kind of put into it.
Did you play the first one?
The game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I've played it a fair bit. I had it before or during a time when I didn't have PlayStation Plus. So I basically just played all of the training things a bunch.
Yeah.
And then it finally could afford PlayStation Plus and played a lot of the multiplayer.
I got a bike, but I didn't get the wheels.
Yeah, I
don't feel like I needed them.
I could afford the frame, but not the tires. Exactly. But I got some tires and baby, I've been riding. And I liked the first one, but I'm not a big fan of online multiplayer shooters, so I didn't play a lot of it.
Yeah.
And the Battlefront 2 beta only has the multiplayer aspect available and an arcade mode, which is just like the multiplayer maps with bots, I think, from what I played.
Right.
But I played, a bunch of the maps in multiplayer, and man, it's a beautiful game. Like, it's
soccer.
The world's game.
The beautiful game as well. They call that the beautiful game.
I actually watched the soccer last night.
Did you honestly think that's what the term was? The beautiful game?
No, it is called the beautiful game.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's called the world game.
It's called the world game.
It can be called more than one thing. It's called soccer and football already.
Just you saying it just then doesn't mean that's what it's called.
It is 100% called the beautiful. If I type in the beautiful game into Google,
for your life.
It's actually called the beautiful game.
It's just come up with a very nice picture of the rapper The Game. The beautiful.
So I played FIFA. Wait a minute. What are we talking about?
Oh yeah, imagine there's a small cross-section of our listeners that are infuriated that FIFA hasn't gotten a mention on here yet.
Yeah.
And I dare say it probably never will.
Probably people who would know that the beautiful game can refer to soccer.
I can't read that from here.
Can you see the soccer ball?
Yeah, but you could have just Googled image soccer ball for one. I can't see any of the text.
Look at this big meme with the words "the beautiful game" written over a soccer stadium.
Yeah, that could be any kind of stadium though. That could be like a concert could be about to happen there.
So we're all agreed it's called the world game. So yeah, the levels I played, I think were mostly on Naboo. It was like the throne room and stuff.
Yeah.
But Naboo is like a very nicely designed world.
Jungly sort of looking.
Well, the cityscape is a lot of sandstone and kind of autumn leaves and shit.
Yeah.
And like all of that stuff looked amazing.
The first game looked great too at the time.
And it looks better than that. Like it looks really, really beautiful. Hope no one pulls me up on using the word beautiful and game in the same sentence. But
I've never heard of such a thing.
but the gameplay wasn't really that fun. Like the gunplay itself, and I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2 as well. It just suffers in comparison. Like it's not very good. I don't even think it's as good as the first Battlefront. Like
in what sort of way? Like
it just doesn't feel good. It's hard to describe why a game doesn't feel good, except that it just doesn't. Like the movement's a bit slower than I'd like. The shooting, even the like rapidity of shots is like real slow.
right.
So you want it to be like, but it's a little bit more like.
You've got it spot on. That, my friend, was a goal. It just feels a bit off, and I don't know why, but I just didn't really enjoy playing it. It felt like a bit of a chore.
Right.
And
I
it
thought
wasn't
you
even
would
the
have
stuff-
been creaming your little jeans over this one.
So did I. Nary a
I'd even
cream to
got-
be seen.
I'd gotten a cream hatch specifically installed for
Yeah.
for easy release.
But yeah, I don't know. It just felt a bit off, which was a shame. But the thing that wasn't there was the single player, and I tend to be much more, into that kind of thing.
Because the first one didn't really have that, and
Not at all.
And the second one, so this second one is coming. Well, if the analogy was the frame, the tutorial is the frame,
Yes.
and the online multiplayer is the wheels.
Yes.
It's
one
like
has a
this one's
basket?
just a skateboard.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say maybe this one is like at a BMX park.
One of those little, like those trailers that you carry a toddler in behind your bike.
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
not bad.
Okay, yeah.
But it's still without the wheels. You're just pushing that thing along,
That's right.
just dragging it through the gravel.
That's correct. But yeah, I can see myself getting into the single player campaign and maybe getting used to the mechanics and the feel of this particular shooter. But like just jumping into a multiplayer map, which I'm not really inclined to play anyway, didn't really do it for me.
Well, do you know what's weird? I played a tiny bit of Battlefront 1 last night.
Yeah.
Because I got it for free on the PS4 at some point. And felt kind of the exact same way about the shooting in that.
Yeah, okay.
To start with, but as I played a bit more, got used to it again, and the rhythm of it, I think, was part of it. Like you die very quickly, but it can feel a little inaccurate to shoot at other people.
Yes.
So that feels shitty at first until you start to. The shooting is slow.
Yeah.
You feel every projectile moving away from you. So you kind of have to plan for that in a weird way.
Yeah.
But once your head readjusts itself to figure for that, it started being more fun.
Yeah, right.
For me. So
And
maybe it's just a time thing.
I probably had the same thing with the first one.
Especially
but
switching
yeah.
to it from Destiny, which is such a tight and different feeling
Yes.
style of shooting, is probably not helped.
Yeah, I remember Battlefront 1 being different to games like Call of Duty and
Yeah.
Battlefield.
It's a lot floatier, a
Yes.
lot like more
It's less
gelatinous,
precise.
I want to say.
Yeah, it feels
it's like you're moving in Star Treacle.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Like I'm still really excited to play the campaign because it is a beautiful looking game and I like Star Wars. So
you watched that Last Jedi trailer, bro?
I watched about half and I was like, nah, I don't need any more spoilers. I want to go in fresh.
You swallowed the Ryan Johnson pill.
Yes, despite the fact that I don't think it's going to be that great, but we'll see.
Really?
Yeah,
This
I have
is-
low expectations.
What makes you think that?
Right, weird.
just everything about the trailers that they've shown?
A man who, by his own admission, has not watched 50% of the main trailer.
Yes.
Yeah, this most recent one made it look the most interesting. Certainly more interesting than Force Awakens to me.
Right.
I found that one kind of boring though.
Right.
So-
Well, yeah. I loved The Force Awakens, and I thought Rogue One was kind of not great. But like, I'm going to see this anyway, so I don't have to watch the fucking trailer.
Yeah, we're in Sydney when it's out.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
baby.
out on the 15th, and then we're doing our show on the 16th.
Oh,
so maybe
nice.
We'll do like a filthy view. No,
Yeah,
actually,
no.
there won't be time.
Yeah.
Sunday morning we could do it.
You and I. Oh, we should plug this. You and I are going to be there doing the Sydney Comedy Store.
Yeah.
For 3 days. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
14th,
So if
15th, 16th.
Yeah, if people are looking for something to do after the live Filthy show, I recommend getting a ticket to come and see us at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, that
'Cause that's
place
where
is
we'll be
great.
going.
There's a little button on your table that you can press, and they'll bring you a drink,
Wow.
like you're a Maharaja.
But you don't get access to that. You
No,
know that, right?
you'll be backstage.
backstage.
No,
we
I
get
know.
beers back there, but you don't get to use the button.
I can slip a backpack in backstage. That doesn't matter. I'm just saying, if you're in the audience, that button made me feel like a god.
But yeah, if you want to see us do stand up, come do that.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. And there's a great lineup on as well. But yeah, I think the trailer looks cool. Although
Okay.
I was watching it and I've always been, in the last couple of years, I've been very thankful that I'm not, I'll go see a Star. I haven't seen Rogue One. I saw The Force Awakens.
I like
Yeah.
Rogue One.
I'll go see this. Like, I like Star Wars enough, but I've always been thankful that I'm not like someone who's massively into it.
Your hopes and
Be-
dreams aren't pinned on
It
it.
just seems like there's too much at the moment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people losing their minds about the trade. It just seems exhausting to me. It seems like a very, at the moment, like kind of simultaneously like great because
Yeah.
it's like after inactivity for a long time and then a lot of disappointment before that, suddenly we're getting like all this content,
Yeah.
but it's a lot to keep up with. And it's just these constant dates of like, this is when the poster's going up. This is when the teaser's coming out. This is when the trailer's coming out.
If you care about that stuff, though, you don't really care because, like, the same stuff happens in video games all the time. Like,
Oh, yeah, totally.
Rockstar put up that tweet, like, next week a trailer drops,
Yeah.
and then the trailer's like a minute long and just has a guy sitting around.
Yeah, but my
Yeah.
point is, I'm into enough other stuff that I don't know. I couldn't handle having that in my life as well.
Yeah,
is what I'm
sure.
saying.
I'll be interested to see how long they can maintain it for as well. Because in 2 years and a bit from now, episode 9 is out.
Yeah.
And then that new trilogy's done. They obviously want to keep this going for the rest of eternity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there will have been the Han Solo
The Han Solo one is like
That's
next
next
year, isn't
year,
it?
yeah.
And then there'll be
And
Nine,
then
and there'll be
9,
one
and
after
then
that.
what?
and then maybe I think Obi-Wan is the rumor.
But then a 10?
And
or
then
do you
it-
go like,
yeah.
we're redoing 1? Or do you go like,
I think
yeah.
they do 10, 11, 12. They just keep going until
You reckon?
Oh
the
man,
end of
if I
time.
see Star Wars 22,
you're going to.
yeah,
Yeah.
fuck.
There's been like, 25, 30 Bonds or whatever?
yeah,
like-
whatever.
I don't
guess
mind
I-
the idea of all
yeah.
these little side movie. Like,
Oh, yeah, I
I'm
love
kind
it.
of almost at this point more into that than I'm into the. And this is from someone who's seen none of them. Like, I haven't
Yes.
seen Rogue One yet, but
Yeah.
I do like the idea of these kind of lower stakes ones. Of
Yeah.
like, I mean, that wasn't held up as. I feel like this one, The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
People really need these like mainline ones to be great, or they're really disappointed.
Yeah.
Whereas all the other stuff is just kind of a bonus. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
cool, we got this other little story in the universe. If it wasn't for me, then who cares? Like, it's not.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not really changing anything. It's not super affecting the timeline.
I guess so. There's only been one of those movies so far, though. So
Yeah.
if the Han Solo one is fucking terrible,
Yep.
we'll see how that goes. And they didn't like 3 directors walk off it so
22,
far or something.
21 jump universe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
21
two
jump
of,
up superstar.
Two of the directors were a pair, so that's not like you can't
Yeah.
really count. 3.
If you get 2 directors, the movie is twice as long.
I'm always
yeah.
I'm always so interested in the reaction of something when it comes out, when there's been very publicly behind the scenes drama
Yeah.
in the lead up to it, where it's like, can it be good now? Like, I don't know, people
Well, that
walking
happened-
off or getting the sack.
That happened with Rogue One. Like they brought in a new director to finish it and do reshoots and rewrite some of it. This guy
Right.
Tony Gilroy, who's a great writer, he wrote and directed, I think, Inside Man, and he's done a bunch of.
Oh yeah, I love Inside Man.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
was that the one?
I
Was
think he might
that
have done Michael Clayton. A lot of those kind of
Right.
espionage kind of.
was
films.
Inside Man the one where it was the bank robbery?
Yes, with
I
Denzel.
didn't like that movie.
I like it a lot.
I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the second person in a month who I've talked to who did not like Inside Man. I always assumed Inside Man was
To be fair, you open every conversation at the moment by
What do you
saying,
think?
"What do you reckon of Inside Man?"
I just had in my head that it was a universally beloved film.
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
finding out not so.
Nah, yeah, not into it.
Yeah, I really
got
liked
it on a
it.
DVD double thing though, and I think it was that and Children of Men. And so I watched
Right.
Children of Men and went, "Oh, this is my new favorite movie ever."
Yeah, I
and
tried
then
to
watched that
rewatch.
and went, thinks it's real clever.
I tried
Yeah.
to rewatch Children of Men recently and couldn't get through it.
Ooh.
Did not hold up for me.
Yeah,
in the same
right.
way that it
Uh-oh.
once did.
Anyway, this Tony Gilroy guy, he comes in and he goes, I'm going to fix Rogue One, and then it's hard to tell if
Get
he made it
this.
worse or better.
Yeah.
The whole time, Darth Vader was pretending to be a hero, but he was a villain. Whatever happened in Inside Man is what I'm trying to
That
do.
should be a rule where if a new director comes in midway through,
Yeah.
fine.
Yep.
But wherever they'd gotten up to with the old director, that even if it's like 45 minutes long and unfinished,
Yeah.
what they would have done with it has to be on the DVD at some point.
Oh, yeah.
We have to be able to see it so we have a comparison,
Yeah.
and we then know,
Yeah.
was this worth giving this person the ass and getting this new person in
Yeah.
for?
The movie
nice.
has to change color scheme
Yeah,
halfway through.
Yeah.
Or it cuts and then the new director comes on screen. and
Picture
he's
in
like,
picture.
Hey guys, this is
Yeah.
where I pick up things, and here's how I'm going to do things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Here's the real reason that Ed whatever had to leave Ant-Man. What the fuck was his name?
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright, yeah.
That's it. I
Yeah.
could only think of Ed Harris, like usual.
So that'll mean like we get, this Han Solo movie we'll get to see, because these guys got kicked off for trying to be like doing this frat house bullshit.
Yeah,
so that'll mean
UCB improv comedy.
yeah, so
I
that'll
think.
mean we get to see all these like outtakes
Han
of
Solo, The Rise of Taj.
yeah, we get to see all these outtakes of like Han Solo saying to Chewbacca, "You know how I know you're gay?" And it's like, yeah, they made this does not fit in with the universe. I get why they gave these guys the ass.
Yeah. So really looking forward to this movie and Star Wars Battlefront 2. I've been playing a bunch of other stuff, but you guys want to start talking for a bit because my throat's getting a bit raspy.
Oh yeah, well there was news this week of some stuff.
Yeah.
The fine folks over at Telltale Studios
Oh
have
yeah,
been bad little boys.
Yeah.
Girls.
yes.
Someone over there's been a bad little something because there was this thing. So I guess the most recent...
Someone been smashing that "I'm feeling lucky" button on Google Images.
the most recent episode of the Batman Telltale game
Right.
had just like a little bit where you're being detective boy and looking at some photos of a crime scene.
Yes.
And there was one particular photo of a bank vault, an open bank vault, and a security guard of that bank lying dead on the ground. And someone recognized that corpse, which
Yeah.
is a weird thing.
That's great.
Yeah.
That person who blew the whistle, that
Yeah.
freak who's just got this exact pictorial memory of what this dead Russian person looks like.
Yeah. Now,
Can't
guys,
remember their wife's birthday.
Hang on a minute, this looks exactly like that photo I was just jerking off to.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's this photo of a Russian diplomat who was assassinated at some point. And the photo's incredible because it looks like a frame from a movie. It's like a secret agent sort of standing over the body, pointing his gun off to the side of frame, all these pictures hung up behind it. It's very cinematic looking.
Right.
So you can forgive how this person didn't think it was a real dead body.
Yes.
You can't really forgive that they just took a thing off of Google Images.
Yeah.
That's pretty... I don't know what obviously they didn't license it because...
That's it. At
Yeah.
the very least, you would have to check it to check if you're allowed to, not only if it's questionable content,
like,
but
did they just chuck the licensed for reuse on?
Possibly this is
Google?
like
Like,
Creative
fuck.
Commons or whatever
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's a political thing or
oh
something.
yeah, okay, yeah.
But
Yeah.
even then, you just... and I think it's a relatively common practice to have reference material, to make what you're going to eventually draw.
You got to stick to that Shutterbox.com membership, bro.
Yeah.
Is that what the stock images one is called?
They're lucky the dead body wasn't just like a woman laughing at a salad on the ground. Just
An
a
old
bunch
man-
of businessmen pointing.
Yeah, an old man trying to plug in a Discman. Yeah.
A guy with his girlfriend's hand looking over at an assassinated Russian politician.
But yeah, so they've patched it out since and replaced it with, I guess, a drawing. Because I'm assuming it's just something where they either forgot or ran out of time.
I wish that they had not patched it out and just doubled down.
Yeah.
Like they start
Change
getting
the
heat.
plot.
You're goddamn right, it's that assassinated Russian diplomat. What are you going to do about it?
No,
Wait until you see episode 3 of Batman because it's going
Yeah.
to make sense.
They changed
Yeah.
it out, but they put in the photo of JFK getting his head blown off. And Jackie O
That's great.
scrabbling for
Every
his
time
brains.
from now on in that series, it's like, oh, you want to complain about the photos, do you? So it's like every time he looks at an image, it's a different frame of the Zabruta film. Just
we've got to take this back and to the left.
That would be great if they were really unhappy about it and they just went back and they're like, you see what happened to him? You want that to happen to you? I bet you keep your goddamn mouth shut. Keep off the fucking Twitter sphere.
This sort of stuff happens fairly regularly. Like there was that Assassin's Creed trailer, I think it was, where they
A lot of assassinations in that.
Yeah, they used someone's painting in the trailer, and it was just someone else's.
Oh,
do you remember that? There was some other like. It zoomed into it was an Uncharted trailer, I think, and it zoomed into the photo of Nathan Drake remembering. Maybe it was even in the game, remembering what it was like to be an adventurer.
Right.
And it was just a screenshot from an Assassin's Creed.
That's
concept.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like. And it makes sense. You start when you're trying to figure something out, use reference points and just make a quick mock-up using Photoshop stuff, and then you trace over it later or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, they patched it out and apologized.
It's like when you're trying like new material and you stand up and you're getting like halfway through the bit and you're like, this is going pretty well. And then you get up to a bit where you're like, oh, that's right. The sheet of paper that this bit is on says insert joke here. That's what I didn't do today. Come up with a punchline for this.
And you start just using a Richard Pryor bit or something. Yeah.
You shoot a Russian man in the audience. There we go.
Yeah.
Got out of it.
Very funny.
So that was kind of interesting. And speaking of Battlefront 2, the other sort of big discussion during the week was a lot of people talking about loot crate things and the current, like there's a fair few games coming out at the moment with pretty heavy microtransaction stuff, and they're full-priced games that are coming out with very sort of free-to-play mobile payment schemes inside of them to like, so Forza 7, Middle-earth, Shadow of War, Battlefront 2 down the line.
Yeah.
All these things having stuff where like, give us fucking $3 and you'll get a little loot box that'll
you'll get like maybe a gun upgrade,
exactly,
maybe a costume upgrade.
It's getting a little out of control, and the fact that there's not even certainty to it is, in my humble opinion, pulling the piss.
It's very close to gambling, and there's a lot of argument of like maybe laws should be changed because some of these games 13-year-olds are allowed to play. Like Forza 7 is rated G.
Yeah,
when it's $80 or $90 in store.
I noticed this
crazy.
Really for the first time this year with For Honor.
Yeah.
Which was one of the first games with heavy online multiplayer I played in a long time and played a lot of, and Injustice 2.
Yeah.
And they both have, very similar fake currencies in the game that you can build up by just playing the game, or you can pay more for with real money. And just that like interpolation of like fake money and building it up with experience and real money.
That's
is
a
really
fucking
concerning.
casino ass trick as well. It's
absolutely.
like, give us $20, we'll give you chips because your brain treats them differently.
Totally.
And it's such a shame too because
$20. Look at big spender over here.
It feels like for ages you were able to sort of get like when Candy Crush got big and people would like spend the money on getting more credits on that.
Yep.
If you were like into console games, you kind of were able to take the sit on your high horse and be like, nah, look at these idiots. But now it's like seeped into these like big blockbuster legitimate games that it's like, oh, this is a shame. This used to just be that thing that was relegated to that kind of shit side of it, and now it's
And a lot of it's initially been put in for cosmetic stuff. So like Overwatch has them, and it's just for costumes and whatever.
And that's fine.
Exactly.
Like,
if it's something, but then like
you can still
Destiny,
make the argument that like why not just unlock it in the game? But if that's what they need to do to make revenue, then fine. But
I guess so. Like it is already a full price game, but something like Overwatch, they are developing beyond that as well. So rather than paying a subscription, they're funding it through this. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, same deal. Then Destiny 2, kind of the same thing, but at the same time, they're charging a lot of money for their expansions.
Right.
And also the stuff you've got to buy in that was free in Destiny 1.
Yeah.
Was like the, what do they call them? The color changing stuff, the shaders.
Shaders, yeah.
And Forza 7, same thing. I haven't played that yet, but it's, so in the older games, you had this thing where you could change certain aspects about the race to make it harder to earn more credits.
Right.
Now you've got to pay to do those things. So what you're spending the real money currency on will be a little card that says, okay, for the next race, your traction is worse, but you'll end up with more points.
Right.
So you're paying to earn different credits to buy stuff with.
Yeah, right.
Which is
It just
fucking
sucks.
weird.
It's just such a shame. It just makes it feel so grubby and and manipulative.
And when you're playing a game and there's a fucking ad in it, Shadow of War has that where like in the pause menu, a little ad saying like, hey, half price fucking discount on the gold coins today.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's for
what Tolkien would have wanted.
if it's for like DLC where you get story elements or you get an extra challenge, then that's fine. Like I get them wanting to extend the longevity of that that way because you're getting something for your money.
That stuff has its own problems where there are these season passes where they don't necessarily lay out what you're getting.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, we're going to double the price of the game effectively to give you more down the line, but it's a part of our development cycle there. But you are getting something tangible at least.
Yeah, I mean, Mario Rabbids had that where it was kind of like, I bought the game and then like got the season pass to get the day one stuff. And then, but you hope that they kind of listen to what people want because, as you and I have both said, you start playing it and you're like, well, what would be cool is if DLC had like a never-ending kind of horde mode, or if it also had like where you could play competitively, like against each other. And so it's like, well, if you said that's definitely what the DLC is, well then, people would be more likely to go in. But I've already gone in and it's like, will it end up being that? Or you know what I mean? Like, do they kind of listen and go, oh, okay, this is what people want. We should do this.
And it can be disappointing. Like, it's your own fault ultimately if you do this. But like, I bought the one for Fallout 4 and the stuff for that was worse than it had been for 3 in New Vegas.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of...
It was really just like, here's another few missions.
The majority of it was like the house building stuff, which I never
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But that stuff is up to you. But then, so the most egregious thing is it looks like Battlefront 2, the way they're doing it is so you have these cards that are your skills, basically. You can pay to get boxes with them in them.
Right.
And they tangibly affect how good you are at playing that multiplayer game.
Right.
Which, that's shitty.
That sucks.
It's some fucking, prick walking onto the golf course with these nice clubs. You know what I mean? It's a real 80s movie like, oh, well, my dad bought me this Ferrari, so I'm going to win the street race.
There's no build-up of
then
skill.
Then the plucky young guy wins it in his Nissan or whatever.
So there's no build-up of skill. There's no like sinking hours into it to get...
Or
really
there's
good.
both. There is that, and there's people buying for an extra edge.
Yeah.
Which I feel like has happened in games like Battlefield and Call of Duty. Like you can buy better guns, right?
I don't think it's ever been directly as direct as this. Like Halo 5, you could sort of do this stuff as well.
Right.
And
I think Diablo 3 has a marketplace that was using real money at one point.
Yeah, that's sort of different where it's like trading.
I guess,
between.
Yeah.
But it's very much seeped in and it feels like it's a kind of a point where they're pushing it as a little further to see what happens.
Well, I had been hearing that the thing with Shadow of War was that like the end game, you need to buy stuff to do it.
You don't have to, but it's like 40 to 50 hours versus 10.
Yeah, right.
So, but that stuff was some of the earliest things where you could pay to unlock stuff, which I always thought was so crazy because like, why are you doing it then if, like...
So where do you see this ending up? Because it seems like it's people... But, you see a lot of articles written about it, and most times when you hear people talk about it or write about it, it's very much in the negative.
Yeah.
But there would still be thousands and thousands of people just still doing it.
Yeah.
Like it would still be an effective money-earning thing for them.
And you're looking for whales is the thing. We were talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
If you have 1,000 people, that's a low number, but playing your game, you only need one of those 1,000 to spend... $100,000.
Yeah.
One crazy, prince somewhere.
So will it go away? Will it reach a breaking point where people get sick of it, or will it just keep getting worse and worse and worse?
Like, does capitalism work? Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So that's your answer.
My nightmare is Nintendo deciding to get involved in this in a big way because I'll go fucking broke.
It's kind of part of a transition to this whole games as a service thing.
Yeah.
Where every game, rather than just being a product that launches and exists and then is moved on from, it's keep the life of it up as much as you can. Ideally, you don't want it to go away in the vein of a Minecraft or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you don't buy a novel anymore; you get a magazine subscription.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so however you can continue to have your game be relevant and keep earning money is important. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that, I suppose, because, games are expensive, and whatever way to generate revenue, if people respond to it, whether or not I like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
As long as legally it's not gross, like kids gambling, that's fucked.
That's
Yeah.
pretty
And
bad.
that's
Yeah,
close to
that
what
should be,
this
and that
does.
should change the rating. Like,
Yeah.
any cartoony game that has a level where you play a slot machine,
Yeah.
automatically has to have a thing on the
And,
box.
yeah,
so
maybe
then-
it's that. It's about regulation. Because, and this is a different case, but the fact that No Man's Sky came out and has been worked on for a year and changed and evolved and been upgraded is great. And I like the idea of games being fluid.
Yeah.
Especially because there's less, I feel, of a huge gulf between console qualities.
Yeah.
In terms of like PS3 and PS4, the graphics are better, but they're kind of the same.
Yeah.
I like that idea, but having kids gambling being the way to fund it is not
Is pretty
okay.
bad.
No,
Yeah.
and the other issue with it is like, okay, so this game generates billions of dollars in revenue. Sick, good for you. Then how come all these voice actors are always striking because they're not getting paid
Yeah.
enough?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
come everyone working on this game complains about like crunch when they have to work?
Yeah.
like
23 hours a day, yeah.
billion hours a day.
Yeah.
And I was going to say 60-hour weeks. And it's like, oh no, that's not that much.
That's fine.
You know what I'm like? So then you always see those articles of like video games are worth more than movies now. So okay, cool. The writer for this made $700
Yeah.
because they don't get revenue or whatever you call it,
Royalties.
royalties.
Yeah.
And you read the stories about like the making of Street Fighter 2. That was like 8 people, and they were out getting blind every night after they left work.
Yeah. So the whole industry is in a weird spot with money because obviously they want to make as much as they can, and it seems like it's partly just because these things are owned by such nebulous corporate bodies. That something like Shadow of War or whatever, I would wager that there's plenty of people in that.
Don't wager.
team
That's
who-
encouraging.
No, I want to wager that I will
Bad
get
behaviour.
3 orcs out of this box.
Yeah.
That nobody creatively working on the game wanted to put in this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Just
why
like Command from on high.
playing this, like I've played so many indies this year just because the Switch has become a little indie hub, and it really is like beyond just aesthetically and gameplay wise, they really do harken back to a simpler time of gaming where
Totally.
something just came out, and they can patch them and they fix bugs or they add on little story modes, but it just feels like this little really pure oasis of like none of that stuff is seeping in
That is
because they just don't have the they're fans. Like they've made first and foremost by fans who are just making games the way they want to play them.
And that's completely where this stuff exists, where you get these auteurs. Like
Yeah.
the guy whose name I can't remember who made Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Like a guy made that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Person
talk
just
about that
made
because I played
Yeah.
that. We should do an ad first. Speaking of big corporate bodies and
literally loot boxes.
taking and and
It's a shame that the naming has worked out like that.
These are the only loot crates that we endorse.
Yeah.
Yes, this episode is brought to you by Loot Crate.
Just $3.95 covered in.
Loot Crate, they're a great sponsor of ours. They've been supporting us for ages. Let's talk about them once more.
Yeah.
And only once. No, we'll be talking about them again.
they've been like all year.
Yeah. For a very long time, for many months. So as you all know,
It's the
Loot
best
Crate-
surprise that you know is coming.
Yes.
Well done. LootCrate.com. I remember that part.
yeah. So we know by now what comes in Loot Crates.
You get sent a box with sort of like, I guess, they probably avoid the word geeky, but the world of movies and video games and comic books.
Yeah. No. Remember, they used to specifically say geeky because I would reference my geeky girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
Each one's themed, and you'll get typically a T-shirt,
Yep.
A little plush thing,
Yep.
a book or a comic,
Yep.
And
Little
then generally
statues and whatever, like,
statues,
weird
kind of-
things.
generally some
Yeah.
kind of like weird practical household
Exactly,
item.
yeah, a
that's
licensed-
themed in a
yeah.
way that makes it borderline unusable, like the Freddy Krueger chopsticks that we got one.
that was
one
the
month.
first one we ever got, and we were just like, "Fuck, this is great."
I got a sick ass Witcher wine bottle stopper or bottle
Yes.
stopper. I guess
Yeah.
you can
Yes,
stop
we got
any
a
bottle.
Pitfall canteen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
I've got
very cool
a
stuff.
Batman ramen bowl.
Ah, yes, yes. I also have that.
You know
I
what's
made-
the problem though is at the bottom of every bowl of ramen you find a dead Russian diplomat.
That is not true. That is a joke.
The ramen bowl, every time you use it, it reminds you that it saw its parents get shot in an alleyway. We get it!
Also worth mentioning is every month someone wins a mega loot crate. Mm-hmm. Again, has not been me yet.
It's just...
I'm holding out hope.
It's just a big one, and it's like all the same stuff, but 5 of them.
They're just the same objects, but larger, and it makes you feel as though you're a baby.
Oh,
That's pretty cool. I'd be
would
into
like
that.
that.
I'd
I
be
would
really
like
into
that.
You
that.
get like VR headsets and stuff. It's crazy.
They give away like
expensive
consoles and
things.
stuff,
yeah. So this month's theme is mythical, which we talked about the last time we did a Loot Crate ad because it's in the same month.
Is this specifically for the Loot Gaming ones or just regular Loot Crate? Because there are different types as
I
well
believe
that you can choose.
this theme is for regular Loot
Okay.
Crate. So mythical includes stuff like Marvel.
Yeah,
Oh,
Marvel
marbles.
Comics, my favorite.
Marvel, sorry. I'm going crazy. Ghostbusters, Stranger Things, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What do you guys reckon about those properties?
I'm a fan of them.
Yeah, Buffy, never got into. Stranger Things, like it enough. That said, never finished the first season.
Me neither.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I it's because I didn't like it.
We should play.
right.
Yeah, you talked about
Stranger
this on the
Things
show.
is great. I really enjoyed it.
We should play that game that they put out. They put
yeah.
out like a little web game,
That's a good idea.
which looks cool.
I
what was
love
the
the
other one?
title font. Not so much a fan of the show.
Yeah, right.
What was the other one? Ghostbusters.
Yeah, baby.
That's fun.
I like the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And Ghostbusters 2. Didn't see the new one.
Yeah, me either.
But
No, hey, just got busy.
yeah, philosophically,
Fine with
I'm
it
all in
existing.
favour.
Fine with it existing. I think it's great.
I think it's really
I think
good.
it's great.
I love
I
that
think
it
I'm really
exists.
really pro it.
Yeah.
Just got. I barely go to the cinema.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it, so I can't make a judgment on its quality. Now, this theme finishes on the 19th of October, so get in quick.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, the next month's theme will probably also be good.
Yep, and they
Yeah.
give a sweet little discount if
That's
you
right.
go through us.
Yeah, so go to lootcrate.com/filthycasuals and then chuck in the code filthycasuals and you get, I think it's $3 US off any new subscription. So jump on now if you like those properties. Thank you, Loot Crate.
So Stardew Valley, it came out on the Switch this last week.
Yes.
And I got to say, it's on the Switch, it's like $15. I saw
Yeah.
it in EB the other day, a physical version, mind you, but $50
Well, look, it
on
is EB.
PS4. On PS4.
Yeah, that's
Oh, right.
yeah,
That's
a
weird
lot.
because on the PS4 as well, it's like a year and a half old or something.
Yeah.
Because it came out early-ish 2016, early to
Yeah.
mid 2016 on the PC and I think the consoles later.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's a-
I know I know that's different because it's a physical version.
Yeah.
But still, there's generally not that much difference between physical and...
No, but I guess EB Games is the most expensive shop in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. But so yeah, I have always been interested in this game. Just never, don't have Steam. Never played it on that.
Yep.
I know it's been out on PS4 for a bit, but just kind of never got around to it. And then they announced it for the Switch, and it seems like the perfect thing for that.
Yeah.
So I've played it a bit, and I really do not know if I like it or not.
Okay.
I'm really on the fence.
what kind of fence? Like a fence separating a pumpkin patch from a forest outside?
Yeah, a
How many
fence that-
woods did you have to cut down?
10 woods,
Yep.
5 bits of stone.
Yep.
I think the main thing is these games where you're it's all about kind of like building a little world and kind of what's the genre? Sims,
yeah.
Sim City-ish
Yeah.
kind of.
Like a sim, like
Does
a
it
farm
a sim? I think
this
that's
a bit-
kind of what it's
Yeah. Yeah.
what the
And
genre
you
is.
make your own goals sort of thing.
Yeah. I'd forgotten that these games. I typically find them they take a very long time to get into because you have fuck all resources to begin with.
Yeah.
And to kind of build up and get enough of a loop going where you've got the good enough tools to be harvesting stuff that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then
yeah.
you need to buy all the good things. Kind of takes a while to get into that rhythm.
Yes.
And I haven't really gotten into that yet. I'm just still kind of going around doing these little bits of bullshit. Like I'm not quite in the flow yet. So I don't know, like I'm enjoying it while I'm playing it, but it's definitely not something that when I'm not playing it that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Which there's been so many games this year that have just really grabbed me that I'm like, anytime I get, half an hour, I'm so excited to sit down and play.
Yep.
This was like I played it for a bit before I came here, mostly because I knew I was doing this and I was like, oh, I should put like another half hour into it just to kind of get the grips with it. But I think it looks, the style of it is great. It's weird how like in my head it's like, oh, it's 16-bit Super Nintendo kind of styled. It's kind of it's got a bit more of the feel of like an early like PC CD-ROM game,
right?
Like in the music and in the way the menus are kind of laid out.
Yes.
There is an opening, quote unquote, cinematic that is absolutely god awful.
Yeah, it
one of
reminded
the
me
ugliest looking things I've ever seen.
It's like the Zelda CDI games. Yeah.
Yes,
it's just gross.
It's so bad.
Yeah,
and I
like a proper animated cartoon.
It's
thing.
kind of a frame of like it's like you've been left this farm by your dying grandfather.
Yeah.
And it's basically him in bed and he's like he's talking out loud about how he's giving it to you.
Right.
And it's kind of just a still frame of grow up. It's a grow up and move to a farm and make something of yourself. Grow a parsnip for once in your fucking life. It's a still frame of him in bed and it sounds like such a small thing to obsess over, but the framing of it is just...
Oh, it's awful.
The bed is drawn really badly. Like, the bed has no depth to it, so it just as an image, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I know it sounds... those things that if they irk you, you just can't get over it,
but those Zelda CDI games, like if you remember them, it looks like that, and that was just fucking horrible, off-putting, just disturbing, like bad art style.
Yeah,
like
it's like bad perspective and bad, and for this being like a third time they've released it.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to like you're in an office and it's like, oh, I'm sick of the rat race, so I'm gonna take up my grandfather's offer and go to this farm.
There won't be any rats on this farm.
But that bit is just drawn really badly as well.
Yeah.
And I know it's meant to look drab, but it looks
poorly
like someone's
drawn.
it looks like a year 11 assignment. It's really poorly done. And when everything else is so meticulous and so beautiful, it's so jarring.
Yeah. It's not a great way to get you into the game. Are you watching it, Knox? Are you trying to watch
I am
it?
now. It looks like a 2002 Newgrounds sort
Yes.
of.
It's pretty crappy. It's just.
However, how's the game itself?
The game itself is good. Yeah, it's pretty much
basically it's like Animal Crossing but in a different style.
So
the visual style.
This is, I think, what's holding me up as well. I was walking around in it and I was like, it was kind of. I hadn't played a game like this for a little while, so I was like kind of walking around in it, doing all this stuff, and I was like, oh, that's right. Yeah, you build up and then like in Animal Crossing. Yeah, that's right. I did like this when I was playing it in Animal Crossing, and then I realised, oh, how good's it going to be when they bring out an Animal Crossing on Switch?
Yeah.
And now I think that's kind of stopping me from getting into it a bit because I just like that design so much more. If the mechanics are all basically just the same thing of running around doing little bits of bullshit to slowly get more money, I rather would just hold out for that world where the characters are, weird little frog people and stuff, rather than just very generically designed people.
Right. So I think that I prefer the style of Stardew Valley, but just at this point of the year, it's not pulled me in yet.
Yeah, same.
I'm getting the dopamine response of, do a repetitive thing, get something back, upgrade it, do it again. I'm getting that from Destiny 2 and I'm getting it from Persona even. It's a very, simple kind of loop. I think that if I didn't have those games to still be pouring time into, I'd probably have more time for Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
And I realized after I started playing it on the Switch, I started playing it on the PC when it came out and just must have had the same thing. I just didn't have the time to devote to getting into it.
Yeah.
But I still know that it's a game that I will probably get into at some point and play a lot of.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to, like I said, when you kick into that rhythm a little more and you're starting to advance a bit quicker. But at the moment, there's nothing in there initially. And to be fair, I did have the exact same thing with Animal Crossing on the 3DS. I played it for a bit and it was just, I couldn't really get like I was liking it fine.
Yeah.
But then I didn't play it for months, and then I read something about like, oh, here's how to get heaps of bells.
I think I did the exact same thing.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I went in, and all of a sudden, then I went to that, like, I didn't know there was that island where you could go and do all this extra shit. And I was like, oh, okay, now I'm in.
Totally,
I'm thinking maybe I'll hit that kind of point with it, but people love it. Like in our Facebook group, there's a lot of people in there that have already played it and are going in again for a second time. So the people who love it really, really love it. And I do kind of like that it has a bit more going on kind of like objective wise than something like Animal Crossing. Like Animal Crossing, you're just in there and there's literally it's just make your house look nice.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like, oh, there's a rat problem in the community center, or like you get these little objectives of like, you got to go and try and introduce yourself to everyone in town. A certain person will be like, oh, come and you kind of do get little things that you can go and actually do each day if you want to.
Yep.
So I like that aspect of it, that you're not just in the dark, but I'll see. I mean, who knows? Like now that I've done a bit of it to talk about on this, who knows if I'll go back to it much in the next couple of weeks. But
I honestly think if I'm still not able to go to work for the next few days, it might be a game where I go, all right, I'm putting 6 hours into this baby. And again, like you mentioned with Animal Crossing, I might have to go like, all right, how do I get started? Like, what do I need to know to actually get this going?
Yeah, because the thing with these games is, like, you can silence that voice. This is kind of true on a larger level. This is kind of true of video games as a whole. But I find I generally can silence this voice in my head. But it's hard to do it with these games of just going, fuck, this is a waste of time. Like, at least when there's, like, objectives or you're clearing levels, you're like, well, I'm going to finish this eventually, and then I'll just put it to bed and then I'll be done with it. Whereas this, it's like... So what, I'm just going to fucking work on this imaginary farm for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Go for a run.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, I mean, it looks great and it all handles well and all the rest of it is really cool. So, and like you were saying earlier, Knox, the fact that it's just one guy did this is pretty staggering.
Yeah.
Like just one.
I do like that intro thing with the bed is literally 1 minute long.
Yeah, I know, but like I said, it's you know those things that just affect you, and you know it's dumb that you care that much. But if it's something if it's just a thing that you have, you just can't silence.
Totally. And also, if you don't talk about the things you don't like about a piece of art, then why talk about it at all? Like,
I think always be positive. ABP, that's what I say.
all right.
I also want to give a quick shout out to something that I, again, have only played the very first level of, but I've been playing a bit more Switch with my big dumb jock of a girlfriend.
Yes.
She's been getting really into Overcooked, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we're kind of going through that together, which is cool. Death Squared I mentioned.
Yes.
Oh, because a friend of mine, shout out to Dorza, who is a listener of the show, had a group of mates over the other night, and we played like Mario Kart, Death Squared, Tetris. We had a good old-fashioned gaming session. And man, oh man, it was a lot of fun.
A LAN party.
A LAN party, yeah. But the Switch is kind of full of these cool little multiplayer games where it's almost like, you know, back to that kind of golden era of like four people crowded around the 64. It's kind of made for that sort of stuff. But yeah, we played a game the other night called Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime, which I think has been out for a little while now. Yeah.
I think that won the most pretentious title of a video game ever. It's
a pretty bad title, and it looks...
Pretty pretentious to hold an award to give that out. And so I don't know if I judge their judgment on which one would be...
Well, it was your award ceremony, Knox. I don't know why you did it.
I'm just thinking out loud here about my regrets.
The title had always kind of bugged me, and just... I don't know why I got this impression, but it looked kind of like a rhythm game.
Right.
That I don't know why I thought that of it, because it's been on PS4 for ages. I think it was a free game on the Xbox.
Yeah, it was.
I've
got that sitting there undownloaded.
I can't remember what made me decide to go in, but yeah, me and my girlfriend played it, and it's really, really fun.
Yeah, okay.
You can play with up to 4 people, and basically you're in this spaceship that you can all move freely around, and I think you have 4 different gun stations. You have a movement station, you have a shield station where shield only covers a quarter of the ship at a time and you can move it around, and then you have like a kind of a cannon that sort of automatically fires in a circle around the spaceship, but you've got to kind of go and turn it on. So basically you're trying to work your way through these levels and, you know, communicating with each other about who goes to what station. So for example, when we were playing it, I was kind of moving us around and my girlfriend was kind of controlling the shield as we were kind of like plowing through all these enemies.
Right.
But presumably when you've got 4 of you, you can go, you sit on the guns, you know, you do the cannon, you do the shield, I'll move us. And yeah, it's like we only played like the introductory level of it, but it seems like in that same vein of like Death Squared, which we played and had a lot of fun with, like that really having to communicate and
same as Overcooked as well.
and same as Overcooked, yeah. So yeah, a lot of fun, great presentation, really simple kind of 2D neon graphics. Cool kind of dancey soundtrack. Yeah, horrible title, but but yeah, I, if that's the reason you've been avoiding it, definitely recommend going in, especially if you've got someone that you play the Switch with. Or I haven't played it by myself yet, so I can't speak to how it stacks up just in single player. But yeah, really really fun concept.
I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, right.
I didn't even know that it was on the PlayStation. Like I literally never heard of it until you mentioned it.
Yeah. We should have a game of it soon. Next time we do a longer recording, because it's really fun. Yeah. So that's kind of all I've played this week. Knox, did you go in on anything?
Yeah. The most recent thing would be the Gran Turismo Sport demo.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So I can tell you that it crashes a lot.
Is that
the
you
car?
or the game?
The game itself. I realise it's a car game, and I figured there might be some miscommunication here.
I went one route. Tommy, you just decided to say the car.
Yeah.
Very economic. I liked your...
What did you say?
I said the game or you.
That's an interesting look into the two different approaches there. I mean, I'm all about just cutting to the chase.
That's right. And I like to use two different words.
So... You start it. This is just a demo, and it says beta on the demo as well.
The game or you?
Oh, for fuck's sake!
The car?
I'm not going to go any further with this. I'm going to turn this bloody car discussion around.
Okay. Nothing to comment on.
Not a real car. I'm going to turn around.
By the way, shout out quickly to a very good friend of mine who is a very huge fan of the Gran Turismo franchise, and I know for a fact was frantically putting in as much time with the demo as he could, because he knew what was imminent, something that he texted me about just before we recorded, the birth of his first child.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
Rushing over to that hospital.
Yeah. The idea of someone like frantically like driving this car very fast, that is in itself a metaphor for watching their free time just disappear underneath them, is something very wonderful.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say... I don't know why, but I thought you were going to say, shout out to a friend of ours, Timothy Clark, who's learning to drive.
That is true. He is learning to drive.
I guess it ties in.
Yeah, well, while we're doing this, shout out to John Heath who listens, who got his license 2 days ago.
Oh, congratulations.
All right. Is everybody done now?
I believe so.
I couldn't really play any of it because like it starts up and makes you set all your display settings, and
you got tripped up there?
No, well, it does a lot of them, like more than I've ever seen a game do, and it gets to the point where you're like, yeah, the brightness is fine, and just going through it, and then on the very last one, it goes, oh, by the way, we're going to make the screen really small. Do you want that? Okay, you're still pressing X. See ya. Oh. And so the screen was all shrunk on the screen because it's like set your borders.
None of this sounds real.
It automatically sets to being inside of the thing. And so then when you get into the menu, I was like, okay, I'm going to press options and fix this. If you go into the fucking options menu, it crashes the game. And so I looked, and so I did that like 3 times. And then thought, okay, maybe there's a way to fix this. Google it. Someone said if you race a race and then do it, it'll be fine. So I raced a race, and then that was in full aspect ratio, weirdly. So I was like, okay, cool. And
this just seems bizarre that there's a button that you can accidentally push that makes the screen really small.
Well, because it's like, is the brightness okay? Is the dark and the light brightness okay? It did 2 different ones.
Well, because this is a game for the real, the real video upset, you know,
Sure.
the real
Yeah.
graphically
Yeah,
obsessed.
but-
Adam Knox, famously obsessed with lighting.
Yes.
Something that hasn't come up
Yes.
for about 90 episodes.
Yes.
No, but almost like I'm not actually obsessed with it.
No, that's not true.
You've just gotten better at hiding it.
Anyway, I did a race, but like the auto assist stuff was all on, so
Right.
it felt like shit to drive it.
Right.
Because half the time it was wrestling the fucking thing off of
Because
me.
you kept trying to crash it into a wall.
Well, yeah, I wanted to fuck around, but also I just wanted to drive myself as well, and the feeling
Yeah.
of like this fucking driver coming to you and going like, I'm just going to move that wheel for you just for a bit. No, this is the way to do it. Just
Yeah.
let me do it here.
Yeah,
This-
Timothy
annoying.
Clark really relating with that bit.
So I did like 10 laps of this fucking NASCAR bullshit thing where you're just going in a circle, and then
This sounds like hell.
and then went out to try and change a thing, and it crashed again, and I said, okay, fuck this, and deleted it. Also, it was like
Wow.
70 gigabytes or something. So
Okay.
anyway, this
Well, I
isn't
bet
an
Pete's
assessment
listening
of
to this and going, thank God I've got that kid, because
Well, yeah.
now I have an excuse to not play this
this
awful
is in
game.
no way
Yeah.
an assessment of the real game. I'm sure the real game will be fine. It looks great.
Right.
You know, the dark and the light color brightness. Oh my God, they're perfectly set.
I just realised, you know what we never talked about on this show? You're running with the Nintendo Repair Center.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about that some other day. I'm sure it'll come up again because it's still not fixed. But anyway, long story short, I didn't really play the demo.
Right.
Okay.
I really want you to quickly tell the repair story.
Okay. Well, it's not that interesting. I want my
There is a very interesting part of it.
Well,
you send your Joy-Con off to get fixed. They
the
claim that there's
the Pro controller, because it didn't work. If you are more than like a meter away from the Switch, or you're covering up it in any way, say
Yeah.
if you've crossed your leg or something,
Yep.
it will stop registering the buttons properly, which is fucking annoying.
so you send it off.
I sent it in.
they then
said-
call you and go, "There's nothing wrong with it," and
I
you
said,
now owe
yes,
us
there
money.
is.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, there isn't, and it's $20 for us to have looked at it.
Fucking hell.
And they literally must have just looked at it, because the problem isn't with the Switch, because the Joy-Cons work and I've used a different Pro controller. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, so you have that, they call you
Yeah.
and you have this like disagreement with
I
them.
read out my credit card over the phone eventually.
But then but then what do you do the next day?
I had to call someone else, and it would have been on a landline number. So I looked in my phone. I thought, oh, that's it.
Yep.
And just hit this number. And when they picked up, they didn't say like, "Hello, this is Nintendo."
I'm starting to
Wrong
think that the
number
Gran
you've called."
Turismo demo was not at fault.
It 100% was. Other people have had this problem, and probably this problem as well. They didn't say "Hello, Nintendo" or whatever. So I called it and just immediately went into talking about whatever I was talking about.
They didn't say hello Nintendo, so I went into...
To be fair, that is weird on their part.
Yeah,
Surely
they just went,
have to
"Hello?"
say, yeah, what?
Yeah, yes. It's a me. What do you want?
Talk to me.
Go for Mario. Anyway,
So you call
I went
that
into a
repair
whole
line
spiel
thinking
about all
that
this.
it's your friend, and you start
No,
going on,
not a
I just got
friend.
these cool new watermelon sheets.
No, it wasn't a friend. It was like tax stuff or something. So I just went into like a bunch of personal details
Oh, Lord.
as well.
Telling them how much you earn a year.
And then at some point, like I spoke for about 3 minutes or something, just really
Lord.
laying out, because I've been thinking about it in my head, and I thought I was talking to this person. So I'm like, oh, this is a confusing situation because we got this Patreon, and thanks so much to everybody. You've been really helping us. And anyway, then just spoke for ages, and at the end of it, we went, so did you used to work at Nintendo?
Oh.
I was like, what? Oh, no. And then realized them.
Did you hang up immediately? Did you apologize? What happened after that?
Of course I apologized. I went, oh, sorry, I thought I was talking to somebody else, obviously. And she went like, yeah, well, clearly, but you weren't, right? You know, I don't know what she said. But like,
And so this happened like the week before we went into Nintendo to play that preview of
yeah.
Mario Odyssey, and I had genuine fears that you were going to like go rogue and just like disappear, and I'd find you in the repair center just desperately trying to make
yeah.
this good.
Let me talk to you about phone answering etiquette, all right? You've got to say what your name is and who you represent every time.
Oh, fantastic.
But yeah, anyway, Gran Turismo Sport demo didn't work for me properly.
Okay, well that game's out pretty soon, isn't it? The actual thing?
Next week, I think.
Oh, right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. I played Cuphead,
Yeah.
and baby, I like it a lot.
Nice.
I really love the art style, and it's like more impressive when you actually play the game.
Mm-hmm.
The way that it's all integrated perfectly and just beautifully drawn.
Yeah. Seeing it in motion and controlling it feels good.
The controls are fantastic, very precise, unlike Battlefront 2, like just super, super precise, as they have to be.
Mm-hmm.
The music, the intro, like it's all great. And it is very hard, but it's hard in the way it punishes you for being impatient, and it teaches you how to win.
Right.
And I think that it's set up to. So you were saying, Tommy, how you feel like you're a failure when you
Excuse me?
This was off air.
Wake up.
when you get damage in turn-based combat. It's like, oh, I wish I could have avoided that. I'd prefer if I could. I feel like that's a failure of me playing the game. I don't think dying in Cuphead is a failure, and especially in the boss battles, the speed with which it starts again, I think just implies like you're meant to die. You're meant to learn the patterns. You're meant to improve by dying.
Yep.
That's the only way you can get better at this game.
Totally. Same as something like Super Meat Boy or Dark Souls or whatever, where death is built into it as a learning mechanism.
Absolutely. And so that the hardness of the game doesn't feel punishing or feel like a negative aspect. It just is an aspect of the game.
Right.
And we've spoken before about how any essential gameplay loop is like 30 seconds long.
Yep.
And in this, it just kind of like is more literal with that.
Yeah.
I really like it. I want to play a lot more of it than I've had time to. But it's great. And if you have a computer that can play it or an Xbox, I recommend it.
Cool.
It's probably not a very long gameplay experience, but definitely worth trying.
Wow. Cool.
Especially if you have to say compile an end of year list.
I also played Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, which
Yes.
is the first one.
Yes.
And I enjoyed it way more this time than when I originally... I played it when it came out. You know what the difference was? I skipped every cutscene.
Yeah.
I skipped every single piece of people talking that I could.
Yep.
Other than the orcs. The orcs talking to you, yelling like, pig fucker, or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Well, I got to play this game.
I don't think... No, they call you pig filth, man filth, and all of that.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Man pig. All of that stuff, really good.
Yep.
It controls a little weirdly at times, just like there's a bit too much momentum to you sometimes, or it jumps in a direction you don't pick.
It controls like one of the worst Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah,
Right.
totally. Or it's very Batman-y.
Yep.
In the combat and stuff, but the Nemesis stuff is all cool.
Yeah, I really
the
like
combat
that.
feels great most of the time, and if you skip all of the story stuff, it's a lot more engaging.
Yeah.
Because that
Wow.
shit was just terribly done.
I think even the first time I played it, I watched the opening, stuff and was like, oh, I'm skipping the rest of this shit.
Just fucking bland as hell and boring, and it sounds, by all accounts, we haven't had time, any of us, at this time of recording, to play Shadow of War yet.
Yeah, we're recording this on the day that it came out. So that'll be next week, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to play that now because of the gameplay stuff, and I'm thinking of just skipping the cutscenes from the get-go because
Huge.
the stuff I've heard about it, like, Shelob, the big spider.
Absolutely not.
Okay, have you ever seen The
Absolutely.
Lord of the Rings?
No.
Okay. You've seen or read them?
Yes.
Yeah. Big spider, just a spider. It's just a spider.
Yeah.
Now, in Shadow of War, it's like it can transform into a sexy lady.
Oh,
Well,
hell
that's-
yeah.
Oh,
And
no.
that's fucking... Like, imagine if... What's that fucking Leonardo DiCaprio movie with
Gangs
Tom
of New
Hardy?
York.
No.
The beach.
Tom Hardy's in
Titanic.
it as well.
Oh,
Inception.
No, the other one that Tom Hardy's into. He's lost in the woods.
Oh, The Revenant.
The Revenant. Imagine if the fucking bear from that in The Revenant 2 was a sexy lady.
wait, they're
I
making
was.
a Revenant too?
Yeah. Shadow of War. Anyway, it's
every time I watch The Revenant, I
Why
imagine
did
the bear's a sexy lady.
I've never seen The Revenant.
Why did
that's
it
what I
have to be
remember.
the Revenant?
Because I was just thinking
why
about
did you pick a
animals.
reference of something you didn't even remember the name of?
Because I just knew there was a bear in that, and I couldn't think of any other movie with an animal in it where the animal wasn't also in some way a
It's
character.
like Wind in the Willows, but Mr. Toad is constantly transforming into a
But
buxom
all of those
wench.
characters can talk. Those
Seabiscuit.
frogs are meant to talk. Beethoven in Beethoven has a personality. But the spider had no personality.
No, it
was
did.
just a spider.
It had a personality in the books, but it was definitely
but it's
just
like a
spider.
deep, vaguely demonic thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really got goals or wants. You know
No,
what I
it
mean?
had goals and wants. It wasn't a sexy lady.
Well, whatever. It's a sexy lady now.
Hey, sexy lady.
It's just such a gross, like, fucking typical video game thing to do as well. Like someone who, well, I've read all the books of Lord of the Rings. Maybe I'll have a look at this, and they look at through their like half moon shaped glasses.
Yes.
They're like, oh, it's a sexy lady now. You little fucks, you little tiny trolls. You
Yeah,
awful
there's like
douches.
1% of the audience that like really wanted to fuck the spider originally and felt bad about it.
1% is a lot of
And then
people.
now they've been and this is just.
They've been
I mean, they're
vindicated.
happy, but everyone else
Anyway.
is like.
Yeah.
fuck
So I reckon
this.
I'll skip over that stuff. The other thing that I played, speaking of spooky things,
Yes.
has been The Evil Within.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because the second one of that comes out tomorrow.
Right.
It's
Today.
So I don't know if
When
you
this
knew
comes
this.
I got to
Tommy,
say, this is my favorite Adam Knox thing. Is the I respect your dedication to going back to the OGs before the sequel comes
Yeah.
out.
I never want to jump into the second thing without knowing the first.
Yeah.
It freaks me out.
No, I like it.
The Evil Within was made by Shinji Mikami.
Yeah.
Who Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, someone has recommended.
Right.
A listener has recommended this to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I just have never gotten around to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's no Resident Evil 4.
Okay, well,
It-
I'll probably give it a miss then.
Yeah. It has similar sort of stuff. It plays kind of similarly, and it's a lot more focused on the survival aspect than the action aspect of it, sort of. So you're
Right.
stealthing around a lot, and you've got very low ammo counts and all that
right.
sort of stuff.
Right.
It takes fucking forever to get going. It just really slowly. I don't want to call it like a psychological thriller because that's what it's going for, and that's giving it too much credit.
Right.
Because it's literally like cop goes to mental asylum.
Oh,
maybe
no.
he's the fucking patient.
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you this:
Another Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
what are the display options like?
Actually important. Because there's a fucking bullshit film grain put over it that's automatically set to 100% and just makes it look fuzzy and crap.
Right.
Right.
So you've got to turn that off right away.
Wow, you're obsessed
Also,
with display options,
it
man.
also
This is your bag, baby.
Yeah.
by default has a letterbox. It's letterboxed,
Oh yeah.
which looks shitty as well.
Right.
Because
what are you
it's
playing it on, by the way?
on the PC?
Oh, interesting. You have more display options on the PC.
Yeah.
Because you can fuck with that monitor as
VSync.
well.
Yeah.
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 Anyway,
Resolution.
it seems okay. It's fine.
I've heard the
It's-
sequel is meant to be a lot better than the original.
Hopefully, because I'm playing. It's a very sort of. It's fine. You know, it's that.
Yep.
It's just. It's kind of bits of it. You like. It's really. There's something quite annoying about it. Well, so like the story and stuff seems annoying more than anything.
Right.
And just kind of stupid and hacky kind of.
Yes.
Oh man, am I the crazy one? He literally says stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
Which is stupid. But there's an annoying thing where when you change elevation, so like if you step up onto a rock, that happens a fair amount. The ground is designed in such a way that you're walking up and down, and the whole
lot of
camera
rock
moves with it.
Right.
So it's this weird kind of sickening, bumpy feeling a lot of the time.
Right.
Walking around, which is weird, but
It's like in movies where they attach the camera to the guy's head, and
Yeah.
so it like moves around with the head.
yeah, kind of, but
I love
really
that
not
shit,
smooth.
man. I love
yeah.
experimental filmmaking.
A lot of stealth, a lot of like, oh fuck, I missed that shot, so that shot was important.
Yeah.
It's just all pretty plain though in a lot of ways, not
Right.
super engaging, but it's atmospheric enough. Not really. I don't know. It's I don't.
Will
think I
you play
like
the
it.
second one?
I'm less interested now.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
That was the idea, was to give this first one a go, to obviously to
Get yourself hyped.
but yeah, it's not really clicking with me. It just
Right.
feels a little underdone maybe or something.
Right.
Okay.
Put it back in the oven for a bit.
Chuck it back in the oven. The Evil Within, more the evil, go without playing it.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff.
I finally finished Destiny 2's campaign
Oh, yeah?
properly. You're right. It was level 15 you're meant to finish it at. I went to level 20.
Yeah.
And then I've kept playing a bit after that, and fuck, it's fun. It's really, really fun. I really
Yeah.
like it. And I've been playing a bunch of the SNES Classic Mini.
Oh yeah. Well, should we hold off on that for another week?
Yeah, I guess I'd want to say I'm really happy that I got it,
Yeah.
and I've been enjoying a lot of the games on it.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
sure we'll talk
I've-
about the games themselves like over
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't
just
really played mine much, but yeah.
with the general build of it, I'm looking at one now. Ben's
My
one on the floor.
Yes.
Fucking looks cool.
It's great.
Yeah.
Tiny
Yeah.
little thing. The controllers felt great.
Yep.
Like in terms of a build quality, if the games appeal to you, and you should probably know roughly if they do or not because
Yeah.
they're very old.
Yeah, yeah.
The little menu that comes up is
great.
super cool.
Really
has cool
cool.
little music in it.
I kind of wish that I'd had it to play Super Metroid on. 'Cause, it's much more fun than playing at my PC.
Yeah.
With a.
Here's what's
PlayStation
cool about
controller.
it. You can power it just through the TV.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
The cords for the controllers are a little short.
Yes,
Yes.
they've done it again.
Yes.
But yeah.
But also you can just kind of drag it out if you've got a long HDMI cord.
yeah.
That stupid little flap at the bottom as well is dumb. Where the
Yeah.
controllers would go in, it's just like this fake flap to reveal
Like a
the-
toy, basically.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, like I've been playing a lot on it. I've played Donkey Kong Country, holds up, really good controls, unlike the reviews of some people on this podcast.
pretty floaty, pretty bad.
I
Yeah,
tried
really
to
like
play Super Mario Kart with my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
And it is near impossible to play if you've played any Mario
Yeah.
Kart game and gotten used to it in the last 15 years.
Yep.
Man, oh man, it's that mode 7 is tough.
I was going to bring that up. So like I've mentioned, I never owned one of these, and I guess I never played a game with Mode 7 in it, like at a friend's house,
Right.
whatever.
Yep.
Fuck, it's in like half of these, maybe
Yeah.
more, and
Yeah.
it's shit. I don't like it at all. It's a bad effect.
It works in they use it in
No, objectively.
they use it in Yoshi's Island a fair bit to
Right.
kind of like skew the enemies and like when they grow really big.
Right.
It kind of works for that.
A lot of transition scenes and
Yeah,
stuff. You see
yeah.
a lot of like world map scrolling
Yeah.
and stuff.
Wiggly
Wiggly,
shapes.
wiggly.
Which I still think looks cool just because I remember it for the time
Right.
looking so impressive.
Right.
I played a bit of F-Zero, which is obviously a big one for it.
Yeah, yeah, I
and
played that.
I never played it back in the day, and I found it. I liked it. Like I
didn't
found
mind
it
F-Zero.
fun. Man, I want them to do a new one of that. It's such a. I really like that design of you take damage, and so each lap you have to kind of go onto this little bar to
Yes.
kind of restore. You have to kind of factor that in.
Yep.
This little on the fly pit
You don't
stop
feel
thing.
better until you've been to the bar. I get it.
Which I will say, if you guys hadn't mentioned that like 2-3 weeks ago when it came up, when we were talking about F-Zero, I wouldn't have known to do that.
Well, it's all these games like are just in there, and you
Instruction
turn them on,
manuals.
and you just go. You don't know how to do anything. I've been
Yeah.
enjoying that about it. The games that I haven't played,
It has
just
the
kind of
instruction
hopping on there
manuals
and.
on it, right?
No,
Or do you have to
it?
go to a
I don't
I think you have to go to a
I don't think
website.
so,
You
yeah,
can get
I
them
think-
online.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've been enjoying that, kind of turning it on and
Yeah.
going rogue old school, like just I don't know,
Yeah.
just push all the buttons and see which does what.
Totally, which I've had to do with Secret of Mana, which we're going to
Yep.
talk about on a bonus Patreon pod.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing a fair bit of that, but yeah, they're all a bit of like try it and see,
Yeah,
see what happens.
Yeah, a very cool little unit.
yeah.
What do you
neither
reckon?
of you have played Star Fox 2? Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
got in yet.
I've played Star Fox
Ah.
and Star Fox 2. It's basically the same as the first one, which doesn't hold up.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that looks very nightmarish.
Yes.
By today's standards.
Yep.
A lot of people going, oh yeah, now they'll beat the Mini 64. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I really don't think
Yeah.
it's something they're going to make.
Yeah.
It depends how much, like, because this and the NES one were both old Wii parts that could do it anyway, right? So it'll depend if those Wii parts are still available and if they can do the N64 games well enough, and I guess it'll be that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
maybe.
no reason for them not to do it if they think it'll make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't know what they would put on it because a lot of the big games from that era are rare, which they
Oh, you
can't,
can ch-
which they
you
don't
can-
have access to now.
There's
Yeah.
enough Nintendo ones, surely. Mario 64, Mario
Mario
Kart
Party.
64, chuck a Mario Party on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I also think maybe
Pilot
their thinking
Wings.
is that like
Yeah.
that
Wave
stuff
Race.
is like decent, is like big enough
Zelda's.
to be virtual, to still have merit on the virtual
Yeah.
console. I think that's
yeah.
more what it would come down to.
I also think
Maybe.
there's a big element of, and maybe this is just my own bias, if you didn't have an N64 when it came out, you wouldn't get one now. I have no desire to get a
Yeah, right.
N64 Classic. I think it's in that weird spot where the graphics and stuff
yeah,
don't hold
I think
up.
that's the other thing. There's like a
Yeah.
retro appeal to 8-bit
Yes.
and 16-bit, and there's just not that for that.
I don't feel that with the 64. Like,
Right.
it just, the graphics still look
Would
fine to me.
would you get an N64 Classic?
I could imagine Microsoft and
Knox.
Rare and Nintendo.
Answer the question.
I'm doing it. Give me time, and
Alright.
I'll explain why the hell I'm doing this.
Okay.
It started in 1983. I could imagine Microsoft and Nintendo playing ball and putting some rare stuff on a 64 Classic. Because Castlevania's Konami. There's stuff on the NES and the SNES minis that aren't just Nintendo games.
Yeah, but that's not companies that are kind of like exclusively tethered to another.
No, but Microsoft, like, they've been talking so much about how happy they'd be to make all the multiplayer stuff cross-platform and all of that.
Yeah, true.
I could see them playing ball.
I'm sure they'd be happy to do it if they got some money out of it.
Oh, absolutely. Like, they would want to take a percentage that would probably be unreasonable for Nintendo. Who knows?
Right.
But I could see it happening and would get one in that case.
Yeah, right, okay.
If I could play, like, the banjos and the fucking, whatever, GoldenEye, probably wouldn't happen because then you got to get the James Bond license back as well.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And would they have to package it with 4 controllers? Because that's the big appeal of like a lot of the games as well.
Why not make it $160 or whatever? And do it?
Yeah.
Anyway, we better wrap it up for this week.
Yeah.
We talked a lot of video games and a lot of Star Wars. Probably more than was necessary. But guys, thanks very much for listening. Again, if you're in Sydney, December 16, if you want to support the show on Patreon and get some extra content, if you want a T-shirt that we've designed, or that Ben has designed, I should say, rather, filthycasuals.com.au for all of that stuff. Thank you very much for listening. Keep sending us your emails and your tweets and stuff. We love reading all that stuff. And as we say here at the end of every episode of Filthy Casuals...
Ben and I are sorry for having the flu and sounding like this. We just got flu in, and boy, are our arms tired.
Nice.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates. I mean, if you want. It's up to you.